Okay, well, it's minus, I think it's 19. What's the car reading? It was minus 19 degrees Celsius. And let's see, car's reading minus 18 now. So on the way here, temperature was calling that it is feels like minus 25. So I think there's about 50, 60 people registered for this race. I'm number 35. It is very cold. It's cool to be here. Lots of fat bikers, lots of cyclocross people. So the race was going to be 20 to 25 kilometers, but because it's so cold, it's only supposed to be about 4 kilometers. They said it's only going to be 12K in total, so that's really 3 laps. They said it's taking about 25 minutes to do a lap yesterday when it was not as packed down, and now it's more packed down, so it should be pretty fast. So let's get our hand warmers, toe warmers going. So what I got here is, for today, adhesive toe warmers from Yak Tracks. Once you open them up, you shake them up, get them activated, and then you take off the sticker and put them on your foot. They're supposed to keep your foot warm for about 5 hours. Usually before a race, people are all mulling around towards the start, and today I'm like, where is everybody? And all the bikes are parked because everybody's in the cabin where the fire is. Let's go warm up.
We'll figure it out.
Okay, so this is the start of the race. I'm counting off about 11 people in front of me. I think there's probably about 9 or 10, and there's one person passing me going ahead. So this first section is packed down really well for skate skiing. And shortly we're going to jump into the single track. So from here on, it's basically going to be most of the race. I got about 50 minutes of the race, 55 minutes. And my total time was about 1 hour and 16. So the camera did run out of power, and well, partially because it was so cold, I actually had a hand warmer taped to the back of the camera to keep it a little bit warmer. Not sure that was enough though, of course with the wind, not much wind today, but the wind hitting the front of it, but that was actually going to obscure the microphones and stuff, so I decided just to tape it to the back. So if you're wondering what's on my handlebars there, you can't really see my hands. Those are pogies, so they're basically like neoprene. They go over your handlebar, so you've got lots of room in there to use your brakes and to shift, and they cut down on the wind that are hitting your hands. So even with winter gloves on, winter biking gloves, it's not enough often to keep your hands warm. So I decided to put those on for today's race, and they worked out really good. My hands stayed nice and warm. So lots of people like to watch the full race, so I'm just going to put this in the whole video. If you get bored watching, then basically you can skip the last, I don't know, 3 minutes or so and see the end. I did crash once or twice. Right here, lose a bit of traction there. So I thought the whole course was going to be on the ski trails, and so now we're on now we're on snowshoe trails. So really well packed down from snowshoers and stuff. But it is really tight, and in sections it's pretty loose. So I was actually running a slightly higher pressure, closer to like 10 psi, because as I was testing it out, the fat bike on some really hard packed snow recently, I found that the higher pressure was a little bit better for speed, but it's not so good for cornering and for getting traction on loose uphill. So there's a few spots where I lose traction, or I wipe out in one spot. So as you can see, once you get into position on this course, a lot of it is on single track like this. It's twisty, and there is no real space to make a good pass. And I actually didn't need to pass this lady in front of me. She's doing great. And later, she's going to basically leave me in her snow dust. So as I said, it was minus 18 when we started, Celsius, and yeah, it's cold. It's ridiculously cold. So you get into some of these chutes, and as you're going along, you're just trying to keep from hitting the sides. If you hit the side with your foot, then you get a good chance that you're going to lose control. And if you hit with your front tire, then it's a good chance your front tire is just going to dive off the side. And though it's not that deep on the sides, it's deep enough if you try to put your foot down, you're going down a couple inches, and you're just going to fall over. And that's what's going to happen in a little while. So as I said, this course is a little shorter than they had originally planned. It was going to be about 5K, and it was going to be 5 laps of that. But just because of the cold, they shortened it down to 4K, and they shortened it down to 3 laps. So it was super cold. I've said that before, I know. But I had a big puffy jacket on, and at the start I was starting to feel a bit warm. So I knew that I was going to be super hot if I left that jacket on. So basically I took that off before the start of the race, and I'm wearing a merino wool t-shirt, well, long sleeve shirt, and I'm wearing a longer or a thicker wool biking jersey, and that one's short sleeve. So because there was no wind, I felt that would be fine, and it was pretty good. I stayed warm. My chest did get cold, but everything else was fine. Now, one of the funny things, if you go to the very end, close to the end, when I'm talking about just the end of the race, and I have a picture of what my face looked like at the end. So all of my breath and the sweat and stuff just froze as it was coming out, and it froze all over my beard. And as we're racing, I start to sweat on my head, and it's coming down the front of my helmet, and it starts to freeze. So somewhere into the second lap, I start to have an icicle that's forming right above my nose that's hanging down. It's really big. And then I have 2 more that's over my eye. So the last part of the race, I just left them alone and let them develop, because it was too much trouble to take my hand out. But it was funny because I had 3 little icicles hanging down in front of my helmet. Like I said, if it's loose, you go down.
All right, my pressure's too high. I thought it was going to be a more ski trail. So, loose snow. I'm sliding out of it, but I don't want to stop to let out air.
Yeah, so why not stop and let out air? Well, I had to get out a tool to reach into the valve and to be able to let the pressure out, and I just couldn't be bothered. I mean, it was annoying when I hit loose stuff, but as long as I
watched my speed in the turns.
Like I said, watch my speed in the turns. As long as I did that, and the few times that I might have to climb a hill that was really loose, just jump off and run it, then I'd be fine. So that's what I stuck with. And in general, the bike tracked really well, and when I got, it was mostly hard pack. There's a lot of counterbalancing going on when you're riding in snow like this in a fat bike, or any bike, but
I feel like bobsledding. It feels like, shoot.
So there's a lot of counterbalancing. One of the big skills to have when you're riding in this kind of condition is track stance. Track stance is so important. Like, the more I've learned to do them and practice them, the more I notice I can use them on the trail. And shortly, I'm going to not do one very well and lose my steam. Let's watch us roll into this. Oh,
Moly.
timber.
That was fun. Okay, let's get the feet warm by doing a little run. You put your foot off the side, you're gone.
Yeah, so I tried to put my foot down, and when I did, it just went down into the snow, and there was no boardwalk where I was, and so I didn't reach the bottom until a little while later.
Okay.
One of the ski trails we're crossing. So this was a test event because this is the Petawawa Nordic Ski Area, and the Nordic Ski Club maintains all these trails, and they don't allow fat bikes on the ski trails, and that's pretty common around here. And so some of the ski trails are...
hitting the side with your foot. Where you...
What am I going to say there?
You can knock yourself off.
Yeah, like I just did.
All right, big climb coming up here. Looks like.
I think I'm going to talk here for a little bit.
Darren, you're happy to know I'm clipped in. Oh. Whew. I bought some new Crank Brothers 50/50s. One side's clip in, the other side's a platform. Don't get out of the track or you lose traction.
Yeah, don't go breaking trail.
Using the rear end, hit the corner, try and slide around. All right. Glad to hear my heart rate's calm. I can talk.
Yeah, so it was hard to talk the very first part of the race because my heart rate was just like slammed as I was
not much of a warm-up before this race today.
Coming up to speed. So most races I would normally warm up beforehand. Yeah, no, I didn't even want to go outside beforehand. Okay, so as I was saying earlier, this area is closed to fat bikes, but this was a test event from them where they're allowing the BORCA Trails to run a fat bike race here to see if they're going to open up the trails, and basically just as a test. So hopefully it went well. I don't think we destroyed the trails I don't think we destroyed them at all, but okay, except for falling into the snow occasionally.
Yeah. All right.
Whatevs.
Retry. Start.
Do I hear that clicking sound? Click, 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 click. That's me not being able to get my foot into my clips.
Eyes on the prize. Trail that is.
So Darren, who I've ridden with, but who has moved to Alberta, is always telling me you need clips, you need clips. I've had clips for years, and I haven't been wearing them for a while. But in the snow, I decided to get some because it just keeps the feet in the pedals a lot better.
Got some good speed there. Oh. And went off.
And I switched to Crankworks, and that's a slightly different pedal clip, and so I am getting used to them. And they are like an egg beater, and the pedals I'm wearing are like flats, but they have an egg beater pedal clip built in. And why would I switch from SPDs, which I've used forever, and which many people think are like the best, and so there's arguments always between SPD and egg beater. Well, quite frankly, the SPDs, from research and from personal use, can have a tendency to cause knee pain, and some people have found that switching from SPDs to egg beaters, that there's less knee pain because there is more float, and slightly more float. It's not a big amount, but so far with them, I found that they are They're not bad. I haven't gotten any knee pain, but then again, I'm not riding long distances with them. I am just doing short rides on the fat bike. Can I talk through this entire thing? I don't think we're going to. I'm going to stop it a little bit because I start to talk more in the video. So that little bridge there, if you go back and look at it, it's like, oh, that's reasonably wide. On a fat bike, my tires are 4.6 inches wide. So what would be a fairly reasonable width bridge on a mountain bike is a skinny on a fat bike. There's not a lot of room for error. What I've noticed in this video is that, minus 18 and 0 degrees Celsius, there's not much difference in the look. It doesn't look cold. My breath is not coming out over on the video, so you don't see any of that because the camera's on my chest. So it looks like it's a reasonable day. One of the ways you can tell it's super cold is you just hear that constant scrunch. You hear that?
Deeper.
That's a sound I love. As a kid, just going out and walking in the snow, you hear this scrunch, scrunch. You get that when it's really cold, because you're basically just walking on ice crystals. Whereas if it's warmer, then you don't really hear that, because it's just mushy and soggy. There you go. If you never grew up in Canada or somewhere where it's so cold, you wouldn't know that. That's like I talked about the foot warmers and hand warmers at the beginning. I'm like, everybody knows this. But I'm like, actually not everybody. If you haven't lived here, you wouldn't know that. Like, for example, a lot of this gear that is rated, minus 40 and stuff like that. Okay, minus 40. Sure, your gloves are minus 40 or minus 25 degrees Celsius. Yeah, if you are moving and you're active and you don't have any wind, I mean, maybe all those things, but when you're on a bike and you're holding your hands in one position, your feet are locked in one position, and you're kind of trying to create a nice platform to push down and put all the power into your pedals, your feet aren't moving much. Your feet get cold. Your hands get cold. So a lot of these ratings they're a reasonable start, but you've got to add things to actually stay warm. So I find that in cold weather, it's a battle of just basically finding what is the spot that's getting cold now, and how do I address that area. And as soon as you fix that one, like, your feet will be cold, you figure out how to get them warm.
This is a grinder.
Such as warmer boots, using heating pads. Once you get that fixed and dialed in, your hands be cold. So then you put the pogies on, you put lobster mitts, and you throw a hand warmer in there.
Beauty.
And what's a lobster mitt? Well, it's a mitt that has you have your thumb is separated, and then your index and pointing fingers are together, and then your ring and your pinky are together. So you have kind of 3 fingers. So it has room to toss in a hand warmer. So you do that. You put pokies on. Now you've got warm hands. Now you got warm feet. Get your legs worked out. Great. You want to make sure your head is good. One of the things you'll find is that if you don't cover your forehead and you have no hair, like me, and then your forehead will get freezing. So you put a skull cap on. So basically, all to say, if you go buy something and it says minus 25, rate it to minus 25. Ratings are, they're like a guideline. I have successfully talked for over 20 minutes, I think, on this. So we're not through the first lap yet. Like I said, laps were about 25 minutes. is he gonna fall over?
There we go.
Oh,
Slow and easy. Wins the turn.
that's what he said. Oh, climb. Spin, little leg, spin. Okay, here comes the first serious climb. So, talking to people, everybody I talked to, we all got this the first time. And then I guess people were jumping off and running it. And I ended up jumping off and running it then the second time because I only got about a third of the way up. So the third lap I just ran it. So I think this is about the highest point on the course. I could be wrong. But we're going to start to do mostly downhill coming after this. And it's some fun stuff. Heard one person, and I think we see it at some point, on one of the nice fast downhill sections, they hit the corner. They went down good. What would you call a snow angel that's from a crash? I guess it's a snow angel. Maybe it's a crash angel. Man, this guy breathes a lot. Oh, look, I saw some breath. It was a pretty hard race. I mean, the whole time I'm spinning in a pretty high gear, but at times it's a low so I can get lots of traction and a little bit of speed. I got to burn my speed off because I do not have the traction to go through turns like that. All downhill. I like that sound. All right, this is where it gets fun.
Glad to hear that.
This first time was, taking it easy because I kind of didn't know how fast or good it would be. But this was a really fun section, and oh my god, I'd go back and just do repeats on this. And so the second time down, third time down, definitely more fun going through this.
Just stay in the track.
Yep. Color inside the line, sir. Oh, jump opportunity. Not really impressive. This bike is not exactly the lightest either. So I switched my tires out from some Maxxis, I don't know, DFR and DHR, I think they're called. I don't know, downhill, or is it DHR and DHF for downhill front and rear. Anyways, I switched those out for some 45 North Wraithchilds. So these are a spike tire. There's like 248 spikes or something. Studs, right. I should say.
Lap one.
In the tires. We'll go through this first.
If I can see my watch. 2.4K miles.
Okay, so these new tires are supposed to be lightweight. They're 120 TPI. It's just like threads per inch or something. Anyways, this means they're like supple, I believe. And they're supposed to be lightweight, and you can run them tubeless, but I am running them with a tube, so I do have that weight from the tube because I want to be able to switch easily. And if I run tubeless, it's a mess. So when I pulled off the Maxxis, I didn't check the weight, but you can just feel the difference in the weight between the two of these. And because I know that, there's probably a little bit of just mental, but it definitely feels like the bike rolls a little faster. It feels like it comes up to speed a little faster, which is definitely something I noticed with my cyclocross bike when I switched over from tubes to tubeless and saved, I don't know, 100 grams or so from both tires, or both wheels. Has anybody watched all this? If you have, leave a comment or send me a message. I have this feeling somebody's just watching this going, this guy's crazy. Does he know he talks to himself? Is he talking to me? Is he talking to himself? I don't know. Does he know he sounds like he's going to die in this video? Yeah, I do. That's why I do it. I've been telling my boys, who currently are 11 and 13, that they ask sometimes about, like, isn't that hard? I'm like, yeah. Don't you get cold? Yeah. What do you do it? Because it's hard. Because it's cold. Because it's miserable. And it's glorious. It's fun at the same time. And they're like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, I do it because it's hard. And so they're just starting to get it. So my youngest decided he would like the snowshoe race with me this year. So we went and did our first race. And that was the weekend before this. And he was a little hesitant coming into it. So he wasn't sure he wanted to do it. And I said, that's okay. You don't have to do it. And I think he was looking for an opportunity. He was looking to see if I would make him do it. And I was like, look, I'm not going to make you do this because I enjoy it, but you do it if you want to do it.
Lots of goop built up.
And he said, okay, I'm going to do it. I said, all right, that's good. I said, I think it will be fun. He's like, yeah, and it will be hard. I said, it will be. He goes, and that will be good. And I was like, yep, it will be. He said, okay. So we went and did a snowshoe race. And it was hard. And it was fun.
Hey, that's all right. I did a couple of those.
Okay, so we trade now places a couple times before she gets in front of me and just takes off and leaves me here in her ice crystals. But it's humorous. I can see that I'm going to yammer again for a minute.
I could crank it a little harder on those downhills, but too much speed and it would be hard to take the turns. So
go faster.
Taking her easy today.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, keep her in. Keep inside the lines.
You ever watch sports and you're like, oh man, go harder. If he could just pick it up and go a little bit faster, he's going to be able to win. Whatever. If you watch sports and you don't go do sports, you should go do some sports. And then see what you think when you think that people should go faster.
I can feel the speed coming on then.
So my heart rate is, this is one of the highest races I've had in a long time. I think it was like track of 164. I am using a chest mounted, like a Wahoo ticker. Oh, here we go. Am I going to fall? Oh, so skinny on fat bike. Made it. Yeah, so this is one of my higher races that I've had in a long time. Which means that basically I was pushing it. Nice thing is, leading up to this, I actually had a little bout of food poisoning. So for 3 days, I did 2 days I did nothing, which is not normal lately. And I went pretty easy yesterday. And finally today, I was feeling much better, at least on this race.
Sweet. I want a lumberjack shirt.
So he was saying I had a great snow beard going. And the lumberjack shirt is the race leader's jersey for this series.
Beard of ice. Legs of fire.
Yep, that's what it felt like. Not many passing lanes there. Now I decided to take the right-hand side, which is nowhere near as packed down. No. Don't do that. Well, I started talking a while ago, and I've got to go to work. Ay, ay, ay. So, for those of you who have watched this far,
You want to go past?
enjoy the rest.
Go faster on the uphills. You're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, you can't pass and then crash. Well, wipe out. Slow down.
It's the Flintstones.
I said that because I had one foot down. I was
This is gonna be
propelling
comedy.
myself with one foot.
All right.
Sorry.
That's all right. All right.
It's hard because
There we go.
if you do break free, or once you get past somebody, you want to speed up a bit. And you're like, oh, I've been behind them, and now I just want to speed up. And so that's cool. But in this snow, if you try to speed up,
There we go. I'll try to put my
then you
foot in.
generally wipe out. Because you're just battling traction and balance and speed. Okay, well, I've got to go to work, but enjoy the rest of the video. Again, if you are bored with this and the fact that I'm no longer going to be entertaining you with Tales of Wonder, then skip ahead to the end. And I don't know, somewhere around the end you'll see that I'm dressed. And then you'll see somewhere that I have a crazy beard. Or you can just go to Instagram and take a look at the picture there. Okay, so hope you enjoyed the race so far. I hopefully will make it to the next two. And I have a nighttime snowshoe race coming up. And that, I don't know if I'll get any good footage from that one. I'll try putting up some cameras, some lights with the camera. Ooh, nice. Second time over that bridge. I made it without crashing. So we'll see how that goes.
You know what was there? I made it.
But until next time, enjoy the rest of the video. And even if there's snow outside, go out there and have fun. Ride your bike. Run some snowshoes. Run in some snowshoes. Do some skiing. Go sledding. Build a snowman. Enjoy.
Uh-oh. My front sear came undone. That's no good. I was like, what's all that bouncing around up front? Here's my face. We're almost out of battery. All right, let's bring it home. Bring her in. One more lap. The few, the frosty, the frozen. Come on, get in there. Get in. There we go. Woo. Sliding turns. Crash there. hope I'm getting that on video. That's fun. Woo! Oh yeah. Whew.
Okay, so if you made it this far, I'm about to run out of power in the camera.
60.
So we're going to switch to the end of the race, right around this award ceremony, and me yammering about the end of the race. So see you soon.
Good time out there? Yeah.
Well, okay, race is done. I'm thawed out. Here's a picture of what my beard looked like at the end. I had pretty good beard skulls going on there. So race is over, and the winning time was about 52 minutes, I believe. So it wasn't a big field today. So good race. There's 2 more coming up. One the second week of February, I believe, and then one in the very first week of March. So now let's drive home. It's about an hour and a half, and lots of time to warm up my foot. My toes are freezing.